And good evening here from high atop Allen Fieldhouse as Kansas survives Baylor 64-61 on a night where Kansas only had 7 players available as they were missing quite a few players on the bench and a key starter. We'll get into that here in JAYHAWK Instant Reaction on the 580 WIBW 580 Sports Talk YouTube page, the 580 Sports Talk Twitter X page, and on 580 WIBW News here on Facebook. Spencer DuPuis, happy to have you out here for this one. It was a close one here in Allen Fieldhouse. What a day that started out really fun for Kansas, having college game day be here and just the whole vibe of college game day. It was good for the school, good for the players, but fortunately tonight's game for them, it was a lot closer than they wanted it to, and without some key guys in the game, and then key player goes down with what appeared to be a rolled ankle. Was in the post-game press conference with Bill Self. He does not have an update, unfortunately, on DeJuan Harris Jr., but he did say that he rolled, or it was pretty good, is what he said when it came to the injury. And Kevin McCullar did not play in tonight's game. I believe he kind of mentioned that it was maybe an iffy chance when he made his appearance on college game day earlier today. But the latest is he wasn't really able to walk today. So basically probably won't play on Monday when they have their next game, which big part of what's going on in this one. Again, it's just really Baylor turnovers and KU shooting woes. That's the story of this one, if you want to put it in a nutshell. I mean, Jayhawks were able to survive 64-61, as I mentioned, against number 13 Baylor, but Coach Self was quoted as saying, "This is the least happy I've been after a win." In the post-game press conference, they were down to 7 players. If they had to go more, it would have been interesting to see how they would have had to maneuver things around, but not the KU win that you had anticipated if you were a KU fan. Looking at some stats here tonight, just not the shooting night, as I mentioned. Overall, let me see if I can find this stat. Overall, not a good shooting percentage night. 42.9%. There was a point where they were over 50%. But if you followed along on the Twitter updates, it got around to 42%, 43%. And then it went back up, but then it went back down. So they shot 42.9% from the field, 24 of 56. It was pretty much the same in the first half and the second half. 2 more made shots out of 28 in the first half than the second half, 13 to 28 versus 11 for 28 in the second half. When it comes to 3-point field goals, they weren't on it. They made 5 out of 21 the entire night, good for just 23.8%. From the free throw line, pretty good. They missed 1. They were 6 of 7 in the first half, 5 of 8 in the second half, 11 for 15 for the game, good for 73.3%. Looking over at Baylor's numbers, they shot 41.3% from the field, 30.8 from beyond the arc, where they made a total of 8 free three-pointers in this one, but 71.4% from the field. Missed 2 would-be threes at the end of the game to potentially tie it. But overall, KU comes out with the win. They're now 6-4 in conference play. Obviously, it's huge to get the win, but as Coach Self said, the least happy that he's been. When you break this one down, obviously I mentioned no Kevin McCullar. Coach said he could barely walk at points today. That's concerning going into another Monday turnaround where they'll face another top team in Texas Tech come Monday. They'll be on the road for that one, so an even tougher task. But most likely out is Kevin McCullar, just based upon the way it was stated by head coach Bill Self. Did not say he was out yet, but it's not looking good. DeJuan Harris Jr. rolled an ankle. He rolled that a few minutes left in the ball game. He ended up coming back out and making a big shot for KU in this one. But the story of the night, the turnovers for Baylor, when you look at that, those stats, it was the turnovers and it was the missed shooting for KU. But when you look at turnovers, as I'm trying to find that here on the stat sheet, They had a total of 21 turnovers, did Baylor, just 8 for KU. Points off turnovers, KU had 17 of their points off turnovers. Points in the paint, KU outscored them 30-22. Second chance points, Baylor outscored them 15-4. Fast break points, it was 11-7 in favor of Kansas. Both teams had 3 points off the bench. Let's go down the Kansas stats. Leading scorer for tonight was Hunter Dickinson. He scored 15 points, 7 of 19 from the field, had 7 rebounds, including 6 on the defensive end, 2 assists and a steal as well with a block. Then next leading scorer, DeJuan Harris Jr. He scored 14, 5 of 12, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. Just 1 rebound for him, 5 assists to go along with 2 steals and a block attempt tonight, but not a full block. Then you keep going down. You got KJ Adams Jr. stepped up 13 points tonight, 3 steals, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Johnny Furphy did not have his best night shooting, just 2 for 8 from the field, 0 of 6 from beyond the arc, but he made it happen at the charity stripe, and that is really what counted. He goes 7 for 7 from the charity stripe to get up to those 11 points. He had 5 rebounds, and he had 6 steals in the ball game. Nicholas Timberlake ended up starting. He played 30 minutes and 44 seconds as they only had a total of 7 guys available tonight. He played 30 minutes, 44 seconds. He went 3 for 8, had 8 points in the contest. Elmarco Jackson, who stepped up a few weeks back against Oklahoma State when he was given the chance to play a lot because of the McCollar injury, fortunately didn't step up tonight in just 21 minutes. He was held without a field goal attempt. He had 1 point on the night, going 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 4 steals. And then Parker Braun came in for 758, went 1 of 2 from the field. He had 1 rebound in this one, 2 total points. And it's really story of the night. I'll keep mentioning it is shooting woes for KU, Baylor turnovers, but the shooting woes kept Baylor in it as it was a 64-61 final. We get some little notes here from the KU Sports Information Department as they have put out some notes recently as I try to find them here. As the 17 steals tonight, the most in a conference game since January 27th, 2007 versus Colorado. They had 19 in that game. They've also now won 70 straight games in Allen Fieldhouse when leading at halftime, dating back to the beginning of the 2018-2019 season. They posted 6 wins against AP top 25 teams this season, which is tied for most in the country with Purdue. And mentioned Johnny Furphy. He scored in double figures in 7 of his last 8 games. KU is 6-2 when he scores 10-plus points. One other stat I want to get here is his 6 steals tonight, the most by a KU freshman since Xavier Henry had 7 steals on January 20th, 2010. Ironically enough, versus Baylor. They extended their home winning streak to 18 games dating back to last January 31st of 2023. That's tied for the second largest active home winning streak in Division I college hoops. Obviously, Allen Fieldhouse just on another level to play out when it comes to venues in college hoops. And the last one, Bill Self is now 120-18 following a loss in his career at Kansas. That's key. Following a loss, you never want losses to mount into more than one. You never want to let 1 be 2, 2 be 3. And he's had a real good job at not doing that in his career, and he continued that tonight with a 120-18 record following a loss at Kansas. We'll wrap things up here as once again we'll go through some quick stats. It was a 64-61 win for number 4 Kansas over number 13 Baylor. Barely held on in this one, but it's a quick turnaround. They'll be on the road at Texas Tech on Monday. Most likely will be without Kevin McCullough again. As Coach said, he could barely walk today. And DeJuan Harris Jr. came out of the game, went back in with what looked to be a rolled ankle. Nothing confirmed as Coach didn't hear anything from the trainers on what it was, or at least he didn't let the media in on what it was. But KU escapes would be the word. They escaped with a 64-61 win. They are now 19-5 on the season, 7-4, in the conference as they continue to try to get back to the top of the conference after a tough January and into February where they fell to K-State last week. But once again, it was a 64-61 victory. Kansas held on to beat Baylor, the number 13th team in the nation tonight. Be a quick turnaround. They got to head on the bus tomorrow, or they got to head on a trip down to Texas Tech. That game Monday night. We'll break this one down more on Monday on 580 Sports Talk. Again, that's 2 to 6, 580 WIBW, 104.9 FM. And you can now tune in on our WIBW News Facebook page, as some of you might be viewing this on your WIBW News Facebook page. Also on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube page, as well as our 580 Sports Talk Twitter page. But once again, this is Spencer DuPuis signing off for 580 Sports Talk. We'll talk to you on Monday on the show, 2 to 6 on 580 WIBW. Once again, a 64-61 escaping win for Kansas over number 13 Baylor. Have a great night, everyone. We'll talk to you Monday on the show.